have there. If you look at that question, we are being told part of the question, of course, we've completed this. So question number 1A, we are being told that describe 4 characteristics of a good labor remuneration system. Characteristics of a good labor remuneration system. So can someone give us maybe at least 4? At least 4. Can we have the good labor remuneration system? What are some of the characteristics of labor remuneration system? A good labor remuneration system. So characteristics of a good labor remuneration system, can someone give us one? Please just mention them down there. Just mention them, just list them there. So it should not be expensive to the organization. It should not be expensive. Should not be expensive to the organization. Okay. How about to employees? It should not be oppressive. Be user-friendly, fair to both employer and employee. Okay. Should reward the best employee. Should consider or should try as much as possible to equate the efforts of the employees and whatever is being paid, or the reward. The reward and the efforts should be almost at the same level. It should not be based. It should be based on expertise and performance. It is not supposed to be based in a way that managing director knows is casting maybe C, and then there's another person working in the same level with C, maybe doing the same work, that is X, and then because the managing director has got a relative here, relative will be paid, let's say 100, okay, and X, because X is not related to any of these persons at the top here, he will be paid maybe 40K. So that one should not be the case. It should be considerate. People should be rewarded based on performance, not whom they know or keen relationship. That is, maybe these are relative, these are friend. No, you shall just compensate these people based on their performance. So that system should be working in that particular direction. How about any other best labor remuneration system? Labor remuneration system, another character. Another character of labor remuneration system. Minimize labor turnover. Okay, in terms of what? Minimize labor turnover. So maybe people are leaving the company based on the kind of treatment that they are receiving. So how can the company rectify the treatment for them to minimize the labor turnover? So should not create conflict between employees and employer. So this one maybe can be in terms of conflict of interest. It should try as much as possible to harmonize the conflicts or the objectives of the company and those of the interest of the employee. So they should be harmonized at a given point, whereby even though the objective or interest of the company has got priority, but then they also bring with them the interest of the employees, so that their performance can be considered in terms of making the company a friendly place to work in. So the system should be fair, both to employee and employer. It should be based upon specific time and motion study to ensure a standard output to the employer, and at the same time there is effective or commensurate reward to the employees. So I believe that one is now okay about the theory. So as you do your revision, because it was not tested last time, that particular concept, you can also look at now the reasons why there is high labor turnover in the organizations, or ways of minimizing labor turnover. So you can look at the causes of labor turnover, or things that the company should put in place to eliminate or reduce the employee turnover. So that one should be a possible question, maybe, if they have to test something of the same kind in your forthcoming exams. So let's now move to part B, which is of interest to me. Part B is of interest to me because I'm seeing this question appearing in your paper. So before it appears in your paper, where you don't have any knowledge or clue on how to tackle it, please, we have enough time and we are going to tackle it right away. So BD Enterprise applies an incentive scheme of labor remuneration. The following data is provided for 3 employees, that is Jane, Peter and Anne. So we have time allowed per unit in terms of hours, units produced, time taken, basic pay per hour, rejected units, additional information. Bonus is paid at 50% of the normal wage rate for every hour saved. No penalty imposed on rejected output. No penalty is imposed on rejected output, but they are not going to be paid for the output. I think you can recall what we did yesterday. They were being paid for the rejected units, and also penalty being imposed on the rejected units. Today now, we are looking at a question whereby they have rejected or spoiled goods, that is there, but now they are not going to be penalized for producing defective products. But what we need to automatically know, whether there is penalty or no penalty, then the spoiled goods must be eliminated first. They must be eliminated first, even if the examiner has not said, unless in the question there's additional information that states they were paid such amount on the spoiled goods, as per yesterday's question. So let's now look at what we are going to have here. Then we are required for each of the above employees, determine bonus payable, gross wages payable, wages cost or wages cost per unit made. Wages cost per unit made. So we are going to have our 3 employees here, that is Jen. We are going to have Peter. We are going to have Anne. Okay, so once we have that, if we have it in this manner, I think we'll be able to do it perfectly. So we have units produced. Units produced. The units produced, so Jen managed to produce 474. Peter produced 684. And then Anne produced 175. Now, that is the number of units that they produced. Are we able to get time allowed? Are we able to get time allowed? So time allowed will be the time allowed per unit multiplied by the number of units that they did what? That they produced. But remember, these units produced, we have to less rejected units. So now, for us to have that, we are going to have 54. We are going to have 84. We are going to have 25. So the perfect goods or the good units accepted units will be, so 474 minus 54, is it 420? We are going to have 420. Here we are going to have 600. Here we are going to have 150. So those are the perfect units that were produced. Those are the perfect units that were produced. We now get to this point and get time. Time allowed in hours. Time allowed in hours. Time allowed in hours. We have, so here we have time allowed in hours, but per unit. Whatever they are giving us here is per unit. Are we able to get time total? So total time allowed. Are we able to get total time allowed? Total time allowed will be time allowed per unit. Time allowed per unit multiplied by the number of units that were produced. Multiplied by the number of units that were produced. So can someone give us the value here? We are going to take 420 by a quarter, 600 by a sixth, and then 150 by a half. What are we going to have? What are we going to have? 420 by a quarter. So I'm told here is 105. Here will be 105 hours. Then here, I'm told we are going to have 100 hours. And then here, I'm told we are going to have 75 hours. So that is time. That is time allowed. As per the standards of that particular company, they are allowed to take a quarter hours to produce 1 unit, that is J. Peter is allowed to take a sixth, and then Anne is allowed to take half an hour to produce 1 unit. If we compare with the accepted units that they produced, then we are automatically getting this time allowed in hours. Then, down there we are able to see time. Time taken. Time taken again in hours. Time taken. So Peter or Jen took 78 hours. Peter 72 hours. And 80 hours. As per the company standard or policy, Jane is allowed to take 105 hours, but Jane managed to take 78 hours. So, is she entitled to something? It's this person here saved the company from spending more time in the production of the same number of units. What are they going to get if we compare? If you compare the time that they were allowed and the time that they actually took to do this. So you're going to get bonus. Or before you get to bonus, you're going to have time saved, because this time saved, maybe the employer will be saying, for every time saved, you're going to be paid half of that time multiplied by the basic wage rate. So we don't just call it bonus, but then we also now know it will be bonus. The basis at which these people are going to be paid for the bonus now depends with the policy of the company, but the time saved is what we need to get first. So let's get the time saved. 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 No? Time allowed 75, but then Anne is taking 80 hours. She did not save any minute. She actually spent more than what was allowed. How about this person? Allowed to take 100 using 72, that is 728. Then this person here allowed to take 105, taking 78. Can we have the first one? 27. So Jane managed to save 27 hours. Time saved in hours. So let's move down there and see how they're going to classify this, how they're going to classify this time saved. So let's look at additional information. Number one, bonus is paid at 50% of the normal wage rate for every hour saved. So this time saved here, it is fully paid for as bonus. It is fully paid for as bonus. So we're just going to call it bonus time. So it is not time saved. Yes, it is time saved, but they are getting bonus for this. They are getting bonus. The only thing that's now going to change is the bonus rate. Then any other thing that is being added there. So that is what we have. No penalty is imposed on the rejected output. Good. So we are being told to get bonus pay. So what we are lacking here is basically bonus rate. The bonus rate we are being told is 50%. 50% of basic. 50% of basic. So are we able to get the basic wage rate? The basic wage rate is not the same for all the three. Here, for us to get the bonus, we are going to have what? The bonus rate, we are going to have 50% of the basic pay. We are going to have 50% of the basic pay, which is 600 here. And then here we are going to have 50% of the basic, which is 300. But then, if you don't have bonus time or time saved for earn, why are we consuming our time to calculate the basic or the bonus rate? It has no meaning. So here, 50% of this, we are going to have 300 is now the rate. Of course, that one is not useful. So let us now get the bonus payable. Bonus payable. Bonus payable. Bonus payable tunakuwa na ngapi? Bonus payable. Bonus payable. So we have Jane 8100. If I take time saved by this rate, you are going to get 8100. Peter, if I take 28 multiplied by 300, Peter, we are going to have 8400. And then there is no bonus. So that's what we have. That's what we have for bonus payable. That's what we have for bonus payable. So the examiner was just to twist it. The only thing that is missing there for you to again calculate overtime is basically telling you that a normal working week, so in your exams you are going to meet this, a normal working week, or a normal week has got a normal working or a normal week has got 75 hours. The standard hours in that particular week for this company, standard hours in a week, when someone completes the entire week, they're supposed to work for a maximum of 75 hours. So if I come to this point here, the time taken, the actual time taken, Jen is taking 78 hours, but a normal working week has got 75. So the extra 3 hours will qualify for, something which you should know. The extra 3 hours. A normal working week should go up to a maximum of 75. Jane actually spent 78 hours. What is she entitled to? Esther, you are lying to me. What is she entitled to? what is she entitled to? She's entitled to what we call overtime. Overtime pay. And the overtime pay, you will find it is always higher than the basic. It is always higher than the basic wage rate. So you'll be told that the overtime rate is a time and a fifth, or is equivalent to 1 and 2 over 3 hours, or 1 over 3 of the basic rate. So a time and a fifth means it is the basic plus a fifth of the basic. Then 1 plus 2/3 of the basic is basically 1 plus 2/3 is basically equivalent to 5 over 3 we multiply by basic rate. That is what they basically mean. So for example, if we add overtime, assuming this is what was given to you, just come here and compare 78 and a normal working week of 75, that is going to be 3 hours. So the 3 hours here, Jane will be paid 3 hours times the overtime rate. So let's adopt this one here. The overtime rate here, which we are taking 1 and 2/3 of basic. 1 and 2/3 of basic, you're basically taking 5 over 3 times basic rate. And that basic rate, for us to get now the overtime rate, we are going to multiply by 600 for our case. So we are going to have 1,000. It means this will be 3 hours, and each hour this person is paid 1,000. You are going to have 3,000. So overtime pay that Jane will be entitled to is basically 3,000. So you'll have your overtime pay, you come and add to the bonus that she earned, and then you now add to the basic. The basic, you come to the actual hours that this person worked. Actual hours, 78, we multiply by the basic rate, which is 600 in the question, for you to be able to get the basic pay. So if you add all of them, you'll be able to get the gross wages payable to each person. You'll get the gross wages payable to each person. So in the mock that I'm going to give you, expect a question of the same nature, and for your information, it is going to include the overtime pay. It is going to include the overtime pay. So please just do your revision to be able to understand how to calculate the overtime pay. If you go through the videos that we covered in this particular topic, you're also going to see the concept of overtime there. So we are told to get now gross wages payable. We've already calculated bonus pay. After calculating bonus pay, we know very well that we have now the actual hours taken. So what we are basically lacking here is the basic wage. So the basic wage, we are able to see the basic wage rate somewhere. Do we have basic wage rate? I just want somebody to mention to me the basic wage rate per hour of Ann. How much are they paying Ann for the normal working hours? The basic wage rate for Ann. Are we able to see it somewhere? The basic wage rate for Ann. I want you to confirm if you're able to see the basic wage rate for Ann. Once that is confirmed, then automatically we are going to move forward. So the basic wage rate for Ann is 300. Basic wage rate for Peter is 600. Basic wage rate for Jane is 600. In some questions, they will not give you that, but under additional information, they will tell you that the basic wage rate is common to all of them at a figure of, let's say, 250 or 300 per hour. So please get to understand that if it is given directly in the question the way we have it here, well and good. But it is not always that it is going to be the same for the 3 or the 2 employees given in the question. I think what we did during our discussion, we were covering this topic, the questions that we did were having a common basic wage rate for the 3. But here now, we've seen The first two, 600, 600, 300. So please take care of that. Now, the basic wage rate. How do we get now the basic wage? The basic wage is equivalent to basic wage rate we multiply by the actual hours. So the actual hours of the time taken multiply by time taken. Multiply by time taken. So I want to take the time taken by Jen, that is 78. You multiply by the basic wage rate of 600. What are you going to get? What are you going to get? What are you going to get? 600 multiplied by 78, we have 46,800. We have 46,800. About Peter, 72 hours multiplied by 600. 43,200. 43,200, that is what Peter is entitled to. And Anne has got how many hours? She worked for 80 hours at the rate of 300 to give us 24,000. To give us 24,000. So are we able to get the total wages? Are we able to get the total wages that was paid to these people? Of course, my board is already complete, but you can continue with the workings down there. Continue the workings down there. Continue with the workings down there. We are answering Roman 2 of the question. So total wages payable to these people. You get the summation of the two. Summation of the two, 54,900. 54,900, 51,600. 51,600 and then 24,000 because she did not receive any bonus. So that's the total wages. I just want you to confirm to me that all of us are getting that. Confirm to me that all of us are getting these figures. Before we proceed, confirm, please. Confirm that what Dorcas is giving us is actually the correct thing. Okay, so now that we've been able to get the total wages or gross wages, somebody may call it total or gross. So as per the question, that is what we have as the gross wages payable. That is what we have as the gross wages payable. And then we are being told to calculate Roman 3 wage costs per unit made. Wage cost per unit made. Remember, the total units that were produced by these individuals included the rejected or spoiled goods. When we subtracted the spoiled goods, we had net units of accepted or of good units that were actually produced. So are we able to get the units produced? Not spoiled. Not spoiled. You want to get the good units. So the good units that were accepted, what were we having for Jen? I think I have eliminated my figures. And will be paid. So we have for 20. Then Peter, 600. 600. Anne. Okay, somebody is mentioning something there. Anne will be paid more than time allowed. I don't understand. More than time allowed. Anne was allowed to do production at what rate? At half or 0.5 hours. For the case of Anne is equivalent to 1 unit. Is equivalent to 1 unit. And she managed to produce how many good units? 150. 150. So you took 150 times 1 over 0.5, and you are getting, are you getting 75 hours? No overtime payment. Yes, the overtime payment has not been mentioned. The overtime payment has not been mentioned. It has not been mentioned in the question. That's why we've not even been given the overtime rate. So the moment you see a normal or a standard working hours in a week is equivalent to this, the next question you will be asked is to get the overtime. If you look at, August 2022, I think August, between August and April, or December 2022, you'll be able to see the overtime element that we are talking about. You'll be able to see when calculating gross pay for an, gross pay will now be equivalent to bonus plus basic. For bonus, she got 0 because she was allowed to work for 75 hours as per the time allowed per unit. Based on the number of units she produced, she worked for how many hours? 75. Sorry, this is the time allowed. This is the time allowed. Based on the units that she produced, the time allowed for her case is 75. But now the actual hours that Anne worked, you are given that she worked for how many hours? 80 hours. So she's not entitled to any bonus. The only thing we are going to pay her is going to be the basic wage, which is actual hours worked multiplied by the basic rate to give us 300 by 80, which gave us 24,000. Okay, somebody is saying that Anne was very lazy. Okay, so once that is done, we are now supposed to get the cost per unit. We are now supposed to get the cost per unit. So how do we get cost per unit? Cost per unit of output, shillings per unit, the cost per unit of output. You basically take the amount that was paid divided by the units that they produced. So what was changamke? 54,900 divided by 420, 130.71, so 130.71, 86, and then 160. So my good people, confirm that for me. Confirm that for me. Confirm that. Is it correct? Good. So that is what you expected. To do in that question. You've seen just the few theories around direct labor. We've seen the workings that you'll be doing. That is this one here. The other one which you did yesterday, whereby you are given a graduated scale. And this one, you are supposed to know what to do with the overtime if it appears in your exams. And then there's a question that I shared with you. Remember, was it test 1? If you look at that paper, the test 1, there's a question that I gave you there that is touching on group schemes. So instead of having an individual here, we are being told that this one here is group 1, this one here is group 2, this one here is group 3, and then you are being given the number of people in each group. Please create time and just try bringing the questions to you, because those are some of the things that are having high chances of appearing in your exam. So please, during your time, of course, I may not even find time to do what? I may not find time to do all those questions that I post there for you, but please, for your own good, just try to do them. Somebody is mentioning additional information number 2. Let me see. No penalty is imposed on rejected output. Yes. No penalty. So there is nothing we are going to subtract from what they are entitled to. Then we have a question that is December 2021. Brian, is it ATD or the CPA one? Is it ATD or the CPA one? Confirm. Let me see. The CPA sitting. CPA sitting 2021. December. December. So that is the group. That is the group that you are given there. Question number 2B. Question number 2B. Question number 2B. I'm not able to see additional information number 2. Or am I looking at the wrong question? December 2021. December 2021. Question number 2B. Additional information number 2. Additional information number 2. Am I the one looking at the wrong question, or it is the exact thing? Are you referring to this question that requires you to come up with the cost function? Is it the question you are referring to? It is 1B. Question number 1B. Question number 1B. Are you referring to this? Question number 2, Roman 2. Additional information number 2. The company uses the sales value method of apportionment of joint cost. No. Don't be worried about that. That is topic number 6. That is topic number 6. Product costing is topic number 6. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. After our topic number 10, we will move to topic number 6. So don't worry about that. Hatujafika hapo.